Hi guys, Naji here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be discussing on AutoGen. So what is a AutoGen? So AutoGen is a product from Microsoft research community which will and it is a framework which will help us to develop the LLM applications using multiple agents. And these multiple agents will communicate with each other to solve the specific task. And another term is agent. So we know that it is there with LangChain and with the Llama index also. And agent is maybe we can say that agent is a system which will utilize LLM, large language model, to complete or to do any specific task. Okay, so that is a very general definitions for agent. Okay. Now in AutoGen, we have a few different type of agents are available. One is assistant agent. Okay, so the assistant agent is it will assign any role. I mean, it will act as any role that we assign. Okay, for example, a assistant agent can be act as a reader, or maybe it can act as a writer, or it can act as a editor. Okay, then another agent is user proxy. So this is a works on behalf of a user. So this will do like a kind of a process that will replace a human. Okay, in general we can say like that. Okay, so we will get a clear idea when we do the coding part. Okay, then another agent we can say is a chat manager. So this will not be actually including, or this will not do like any specific kind of a task, rather than like this will actually manages different agents. Okay, so it's a special type of agent that manages a chat between one or more, I mean two or more agents. Okay, so that is a general introduction of AutoGen. Now we can start doing some sample code. Okay, for that I have installed Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now let me create a file. This is called OAI config list. Okay, so this is actually a JSON file. We can give an extension, or in general we can avoid the extension, the .json extension. Okay, so what it basically does is it's a configuration file where we can save different LLM configurations. Okay, so for example, here what I am going to do, I am going to save a OpenAI configuration. So here I can say that a model. So the model that I am going to use here is GPT-4. Okay, and we need to specify the API key. Here we can specify the API key. Let me copy from here. I can mention the API key here. Okay, so this is my API key. I can have, now let me delete this. I don't need this one. Delete this. Okay, so we can have actually any number of models, okay, based on our use cases. Okay, I can have GPT. In GPT itself I can have GPT 3.5, and maybe I can make use of maybe Azure, OpenAI, or any kind of a model, LLM model can be used here. Okay, so this will actually help us to choose different models. Okay, maybe let me say it in a different way. Okay, for example, we have a different task are there. Okay, so we know that GPT-4 is costly. Okay, and GPT 3.5 is like a little bit simpler than like GPT-4. If you want to execute some complex task, we may have to use the particular agent have to use the GPT-4. Okay, and if you want to execute very simple task, then that particular agent can use GPT 3.5. Okay, so here we have only one model. I am using GPT-4. Okay, in our coming videos we can use like different variations of or like different LLM models. Okay, and let me add one more file here. I can add requirements.txt. Okay, this is the first thing that we have to do. The requirement.of I need to run by AutoGen. Okay, now let me save this one. Let me activate my environment file, env hyphen I can have pip install -r requirement.txt. Let me execute it. Okay, so in between, once that is done, let me go to create a main.py. Here I can import AutoGen. Let me complete it. Okay. Okay, this is done. Now let me import AutoGen. Okay. Now what I can do, I can create a config list. Okay, this config list will read from JSON, and here we can pass our configuration file, that is OAI config list. This is my list, and from here I can write a filter condition. Okay, here I can say that I need to filter a model whose name is GPT-4. Okay, so this is the model that we are going to filter from this configuration. Okay, I can have more than one model I can mention here. Okay, currently we are mentioning only GPT-4. So once the configuration is done, now we can define the LLM config. Okay, so these are the few parameters that we will use. One is the temperature, we can set it as 0, and another one is timeout. We can set it to 300 millisecond. Okay, if something is went wrong, like after 300 seconds, this may timeout. Then we can discuss about seed. Okay, seed is 1. Okay, seed is actually, maybe we can say it as a kind of a caching mechanism. Okay, for example, if I am calling a API, okay, then, and if I set a seed 1, then I am calling a particular action, or maybe I am executing, maybe I am calling a API and I got the response from the API. Okay, so after that, the second time when we execute the same API, okay, it will not go to server and it will not fetch. It will actually use the saved data when we didn't change the seed. Okay, so if you want to again call the API, we have to change the seed to 1. I mean, we have to change the seed from 1 to 2. Okay, so simply this is used for the caching, and we can mention the config list as config list. The configuration is done. Okay, now what we can do, we can create an assistant. So in assistant, I can mention AutoGen.assistant. Assistant have a name. Here I will simply mention the assistant name as assistant. Okay, now I can mention a system message. Okay, so here I simply mention you are a helpful assistant. Okay, Sometimes this will be very huge, the system message will be very huge, but since this is our first application, we can make it very simple. This agent is a helpful assistant. Okay. Now we can pass this LLM config. Okay. Now we can create a user proxy. This is also another agent. This also have a name. I can mention this as a user proxy. Now I can mention a human input mode. Okay. So here what it says, at what level we need the human input. Okay, at what stage we need the human input. For example, if I say always, okay, this will ask the human input in each interactions. Okay, and if I mention terminate, okay, it is only expect the human interaction when a agent complete the task. Okay, then here maybe I can mention there is one more is there. We discuss about always and terminate, and we can mention never. So this means this will never request, never ask for the human feedback. Okay, so once the execution is done, it will automatically will complete the task. So we can experiment with different mode. For the time being, we will mention it is terminate. Okay. Now here I can mention is terminate message. So I need to figure out the termination is. I need to extract the terminate keyword from the agent response. So here I am checking a lambda function here. Here I am going to check. I am going to get the content. Here that is a content, and here we will check. Let me type it, and I will check it is ends with terminate keyword. Okay, so the terminate is the termination or exit command. Okay, so now we can test our first AutoGen. Okay, so here I can use initiate chat. Here I can pass my assistant. Now I can pass a message. Okay, here I can simply say that calculate 4 into 3. Okay, let me save it and let me execute. Python main.py. Okay, so this is in progress. We can see the result. It is taking some time. Okay, so here we are getting some. Okay, here we are getting some error. It says model GPT-4 does not exist, or you don't have access to it. So I believe like I have a my API key is expired or something like that. Okay, so let me try with GPT 3.5 turbo. So let me try with this. Okay, let me check here. I think there is some issue with the code. Let me check this one. Assistant is LLM config. The config list. Here we have a config list is here. config list. I have mentioned the config list and the LLM config I have mentioned here. LLM config is mentioned here, and here we have a terminate message. Okay. So I believe this is the problem with my open AI key. So let me create a new key, then we can try it again. Okay. I mentioned I have created not new open AI key and I have updated that. Okay. Now let me run the code. Here I can run python main.py. Okay. So our task was like calculate 4 into 3. Okay. So the assistant says the 4 multiplied by 3 equal to 12. Maybe I can mention here add 5 plus 3. Okay. So user proceed ask add 5 plus 3 because we are asking to add 5 plus 3. So the assistant gives return as a 8. Okay. Now if I want to exit, I can click on the exit. Okay, so this is done. So basically what we have done, we have installed AutoGen package, then we declared a config list, then we have declared a LLM config, then we declared a auto assistant, assistant agent, then we have declared a or defined a user proxy agent. Okay, so using this simple code, we will able to execute, or we will able to done a basic example with respect to AutoGen. So that is all in this video. In our coming videos, we can discuss more about AutoGen and its multiple assistant and how they communicate each other. So all those things we can discuss in our future videos. So I will be uploading this code to our GitHub. So ensure that you change your OpenAPI key. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.